All right, so let me talk about all the ways by which the Momo fraud occurs first, just for us to understand a premise of what I'm going to say. So first, Momo fraud occurs in several ways. It's not only one, but there's the fake deposits fraud that usually happens where you receive an SMS from some number that purposely looks like mobile money alerts, and then they follow up usually with somebody calling you and then asking you for a reversal. That is one of them. Second, there's the pen theft. The pen theft usually means someone calls you pretending as if they are MTN from MTN mobile or head office. You have won an MTN, you have been a loyal customer for 10 years. They know your number. Then they say, well, to qualify for the award, we give you, today we are in 2026, so add the last four digits of your number and then add your PIN number and then give them the answer. This answer will then qualify you to some questions they will ask you before they now finally reveal to you. But these are fraud because it's a PIN theft. They're trying to steal your PIN, your mobile money PIN account. Then there's fake agents, people who are posing as if they are legitimate Momo agents, tricking you into giving them your PIN number. Sometimes what usually happens is that you get an SMS request, or you get someone trying to have access to your account. You just get an alert that says some money is do you authorize this transaction and stuff, and then you just click yes, and then once you click yes, the whole thing goes away. So this is one of them. Sometimes also you get misdirected. You get some QR codes or some numbers that send you some SMS that you should press. You enter, you press in, then it takes you to a website where then you are asked to enter your mobile money PIN to have access to your mobile money accounts. And then these are all ways by which people are trying the mobile money fraud usually occurs within our context, and especially in Ghana here as well. Of course, sometimes there is even the one that people really call you on phone and then try to talk to you as if they're convincing you, all in an attempt to get access to your mobile money in any way. Sometimes even to the fact of sending you some one CD or something to just tempt you into giving this your access to for them to steal your money. So there are all these as types of mobile money fraud that really occurs. The first question of whether it is possible to predict fraud from AI, from mobile money transactions, whether it's possible to predict fraud or not, is really a very simple one. It is very easy to predict fraud of any type, because it is just an ability. It's just it's an issue of data question. If a number is calling several people, asking them, committing some kind of fraud, it is easy for people to just tag that number and then say this particular number is giving us fraud, and then it will be deleted. So these are predictive ways. So there are two ways by which this AI can work. One is a predictive method, and then the other is a reactive method. So predictive basically means that we have models that we use that learns patterns of fraudsters who have already been committed these things, in the sense that whenever we get mobile money fraud, we kind of send a message to maybe MTN telling them this number has committed some fraud against me and stuff like that. This is a way by which MTN or Telecel or any of these organizations will use it to collect data that will then help them to know if a certain number is going to commit fraud or not. So this is a bit more predictive, as in using the data to predict. Of course, there is also one that is a bit more of real time, which is a bit more difficult, as in It's kind of like when you identify a certain number that is committing fraud, maybe an SMS that is going through MTN's pipeline. It is able to detect whether there is something wrong with certain SMSs, and then use that to actually check and remove these use that to as instantly to remove fraud that is happening on the go. That is actually the other side of the reactive aspects in the attempt of people trying to commit mobile money fraud using artificial intelligence. This is one of the other another way that one can do it. The other question as well is whether we can how accurate are these fraud detection systems. Personally, from my experience, hearing MTN saying they've deployed an AI to detect mobile money fraud is a bit strange, because just last week, or just last week Friday, someone was actually reporting that he has actually been there was a mobile money attempt fraud on him. And so it can be that MTN has maybe deployed a test, one that is able to read through the tests and then be able to detect whether someone is committing a scam or not. But I don't know whether they have one that is able to tell exactly whether one is someone is calling you and through your calls is trying to detect your PIN. That is a bit more difficult to detect. So MTN may have to tell exactly which of the MoMo or which of the fraud patterns they are actually detecting, because there are many of these fraud styles and fraud patterns, and they should be able to tell exactly which ones. And it's not a very difficult thing to detect or to tell which ones they are doing. So they have to tell, if they say they have deployed a system that is able to tell fraud for mobile money fraud transactions, they should tell us which ones they are detecting, how are they detecting it, not just say it, because mobile money fraud is still ongoing. There are people who are still getting defrauded every day. Not even just that, but you see, sometimes our parents and our grandparents or great grandparents in the villages who do not speak English or cannot read English, they are very, very, very liable and will fall easily for mobile money fraud, especially when it has to deal with someone taking your PIN by deliberately sending you a request for you to just say yes or no, or enter your PIN for them to get done with something. They do not read it. They cannot read. They cannot understand what someone is doing. They may just say yes to something that just pops up on their phone, and before you realize, the fraud has already occurred. So they should tell us exactly. Of course, I do know the issue of the accuracy of these AI driven fraud systems, detection systems, compared to human monitoring. The reality is, we need the humans to monitor and to flag all the fraud that is happening, for us to be able to then develop a very accurate fraud detection system. This is really important. At least I do not know whether this has been done or it is still something that is ongoing. But first, you need people to monitor and to flag or to tag all the fraud that they get, to be able to build that data set, to be able to even deploy a fraud detection system, which we urgently need in the space of mobile money as well. Of course, for us as citizens, maybe MTN is actually supposed to give us the possibility to tag a certain number that says, okay, this number is try to defraud me. And the more we all tag such numbers trying to defraud us, maybe it helps us to determine then a system or a way by which they should know which type of numbers, where the numbers are distributed, where those calls are coming from, and then link up with cybersecurity agencies or to the telecoms, where they're able to know which mast is transmitting which call, for them to track people down. Because it is not just the fraud is not occurring only by SMS, but it's also occurring by even calls, through calls. So it's very important. So the reality is, when we have a fraud model, an AI driven fraud detection model, you can test it. And so these are the questions that whenever someone comes out and says we have developed an AI driven system, these are things that we should ask them. What is the accuracy, right? Is it the 90% accuracy? Is it the 2% accuracy? Is it 0%, 3% accuracy? So that we know that for every 100 such incidences, maybe they are able to attract only 3 or 4, and then they need help to scale it up to maybe 98% or 90%. Of course, for a well-trained fraud detection system, your minimum threshold should be maybe a 90% threshold for you to say, okay, I'm doing very well in determining or in detecting these fraud cases that are coming. So when we have AI driven these AI driven fraud detection systems, of course we will be able to trust exactly the accuracy by which they are working as well. So this is one of the things. The other one, the other question of how can AI leverage, how can we leverage AI to enhance digital security and boost efficiency in the mobile money ecosystem, is also very critical. So some of the things that, for instance, we can do, as I said, is that mobile operators or mobile companies should provide a way by which we can send feedback. Okay, we can send feedback, as in maybe there is a number by which if a certain number calls me and tries to defraud me, I should be able to test that number which try to defraud me to a certain system. And they should be able to develop systems that if a certain number is calling people, if several people are testing a certain number as if it is defrauding them, they should be able to query and check if that number is authentic, who is using it, and try to find out these frauds. So we can really use AI to enhance digital security. One of them is that if we have this reporting system, then it's easier for us to use this reporting system as a means to build better AI systems for fraud detection. Or maybe what they can use is also, one of the things they can use is using some form of behavioral biometrics, right? So just instead of just pins and passwords, maybe they can give us access to patterns, maybe on their mobile apps. If more of us wants to use the mobile apps, maybe they can use it. Or if they can just increase or improve QR code transactions, so that people can just use QR codes to make transfers. Maybe this is also a good way, and these are things that we can leverage AI to really enhance digital security in a whole, or in a sense of this. Whether there is the need for financial inclusion as well, right? So if they develop, if for instance MTN saying these things means saying that they've developed a good AI fraud detection system for MoMo, it helps in terms of financial inclusion. And usually for me, when I'm talking about financial inclusion, we are talking about those people who cannot who are not I don't want to say who cannot read and write, but are not able to kind of read English, or be able to understand the English that is very common with us. And this gives opportunity for local language local language issues. So where telecom companies can deploy local translations of all the things that they are sending in English, they should be able to give people access to local languages, in the sense that if I go and register my phone or my SMS, my SIM number, I should be able to say, okay, apart from English or I want my all my SMSs to come to me in Dagbani or in Fanti or in some local language, so that people will be able to have access to whatever messages they are receiving. And this is really critical, and this is very important for us as well. So these are things that the AI can help us to do, because for instance, we have Kaya AI which translates over 32 languages across Africa. And mobile companies should be willing to deploy these things to translate their sentences, their messages to people in their local languages, or as voice messages, as SMS, as voice features that will help them to control these fraud issues on fraud. And all these things are AI related that can be done. Then now the issue of, should government deploy AI policies to address inefficiencies and digital gaps in this space? Yes, government is supposed to do that. We're supposed to have AI policies. I'm not sure which ministry and by which MTN falls under, but there must be a policy by which people who are defrauded of their monies, or of defrauded by mobile money transactions, should be able to report that they have lost this amount of money, and action should be taken on these telecom communications. And if this is in a policy statement, then it will force mobile telecom companies or people doing this mobile money transactions and all that will be able to act well. And government should develop AI policies. Of course, I don't want to say government should develop, because I know government has already developed an AI policy that is already sitting on its way to parliament to be passed. And when this is passed, maybe it also will help. It will help address a lot of these inefficiencies in the digital space, because then the issue of data governance and privacy, interoperability standards, capacity building, and all that can be considered and can be taken care of in terms of how people are developing their algorithms. Can we have accountability of these algorithms? Is there someone who is going to control or going to check how efficient these algorithms are? And these are things that we can use AI, and government policies can help us in ways by which MTN cannot just say we have developed an AI fraud detection system, okay, but still people are being defrauded. Doesn't mean that it is just affecting people who speak English, or it's people who speak Ewe, and they've neglected other people. So these are things. Algorithmic biases are very critical. Or is it that they are just saying it for saying sake? So policies and accountability, even the algorithm they've developed, we should be able to test this algorithm. We should be able to say, this is the MTN mobile money fraud detection algorithm. This is how I tested it on my own, and it is very efficient. They should even make it public, because this is not nothing to keep secret. It is not the most important thing about mobile money operations. So they should even make it public for researchers to test and verify, and to see if there are some limitations in these things that they have developed. And these are things that we need for us to build a safer system and a safer environment for all of us to operate in. So if there are ways we can do these, build these systems that will help us combat mobile money fraud. When it comes to speech, when it comes to text, when it comes to people sending you, they should create avenues by which people can report, and by which people can receive the right information that will help them to develop appropriately all the things that they need to develop as well. So